Hi guys, this is vf.miniatures Warhammer Tactics series, and today's topic of discussion will be the Chief Apothecary, also known as the most annoying character of 9th edition, who was so broken that he needed 2 FAQs to become okay. He has gained 20 points to his Chief Apothecary upgrade, so let's see how he fares in the current meta. Now let's look at his stats. For a marine character, he's pretty squishy. He has no invulnerable save unless you are taking the Raven Wing or Death Wing ones when playing Dark Angels, which I highly encourage because even though they are 20 points more expensive, they are totally worth it. If you aren't playing Dark Angels and you have no access to these special apothecaries, you have basically 2 options, either a Primaris one or Firstborn Apothecary. I highly recommend you to take the Primaris one because it gives him a better chance of surviving a random attack during the game. He has an extra wound and access to transhuman physiology. All the apothecary versions are basically negligible in terms of their damage output. Funny enough, but the Firstborn Apothecary is better than Primaris 1 in terms of close combat. He has a chainsword, which gives him an extra attack, which covers their gap in the attack's characteristics, but the chainsword has an AP of -1. So if you are looking to build a crazy berserk killing machine of an apothecary with a Teeth of Terror relic, all power to you. An apothecary is probably a good pick for the relic pistols, even though they are absolutely not a competitive choice, and if you would want to give him a really nice relic that would boost his survivability, the best option would be the Armor Indomitus. For an additional wound, 2+ save, and a one-time use, 3+ invulnerable save for a phase. All of them except the Raven Wing 1 and the Sanguinary Priest with the jump pack are very slow, so be careful with their positioning and keep them protected because they'll be shot very quickly if you don't. The other thing to consider is that their Feel No Pain aura is only 3 inches, so you'd better stick them close with your troops for this additional layer of protection. One additional bonus of the Firstborn Apothecary is that he has this special rule that allows him to free up the elite slot if you have some company veterans in the same detachment, and the company veterans in this detachment also don't require a slot if you have a captain in your detachment, so it's a very nice combo. Regarding the Sanguinary Priest, he also gives out a very nice Doctrine Switch buff, which allows you to move one of your units or 2 with the stratagem to the Assault Doctrine, but he costs 155 points with the jump pack and the Chief Apothecary upgrade, so he's very pricey. He's not an auto pick anymore, which is a great thing for the game because each time a unit becomes an auto pick, it makes a game that little bit more predictable and boring. Some things about him didn't change. For example, there's still no point in taking him without the Chief Apothecary upgrade and Selfless Healer trait. And in 9th edition, the best performing lists are usually more balanced ones, and you should try to build a list with your general idea in mind and not try to, for example, take the Chief Apothecary and then squeeze as many bikers and infantry into the list in order to justify taking him. And if you have a lot of vehicles, obviously you're probably better off with the Tech Marine in your list and not an Apothecary, even though it's a very good unit in general. And probably the best piece of advice I can give is trying to invest in defense more than reviving. In any case, economically speaking, it's better to have 2 or 3 guys alive than having 2 or 3 killed and reviving 1 and having an apothecary wander around the battlefield with them. For example, if you're looking for a unit that can hold your home objective throughout the game, it's better to invest in a more protected unit than trying to have an apothecary that constantly revives a guy after he's been killed. Like a unit of intercessors will cost you 100 points and a unit of Blade Guard veterans will cost you 105, but the Blade Guard veterans, even though there are only 3 guys in the unit, they are far more protected than regular intercessors and can, for example, hold this objective as well as the intercessors do, even though they don't have OPSEC. So war armies will still need him, even though he is basically 20% more expensive. First of all, your list should be very infantry and biker heavy, and I'm not talking like 3 units of 5 intercessors to fill out the battalion, I mean really heavy. Apothecary now is so expensive that you're probably better off trying to buy more models for your units than a character that can revive them. An easy example of such a list would be a list with Outriders, with Bikers, with Gravis Marines. Deathwatch come in mind with their Indomitor or 40 skill teams that can have a lot of 3 wound models, a lot of 4 wound models. That's the kind of unit you need an apothecary for. If you have a lot of 2 wound bodies, you only need an apothecary if you have at least 20 plus marines. And preferably they should be expensive 2 wound marines, so company veterans, vanguard veterans, something that has expensive war gear comes to mind. So probably the Dark Angels and White Scars are going to still be a permanent user of a Chief Apothecary, because Dark Angels have a bunch of very expensive Deathwing Terminators and Bikers of their Raven Wing, and White Scars, they like to use Blade Guard Bats and a lot of expensive Vanguard Marines and Outriders. So yeah, these armies will probably stay with their Chief Apothecary for a while now. Here's a quick and easy test for you to see if your list needs an apothecary. First of all, realistically count the number of points you can lose in 3 turns and then subsequently revive with your apothecary. So don't count the Outriders that will be on the other side of the map in your first turn, and of course they'll be out of reach of the apothecary, and don't count the Deathwing Terminators that will be in Deep Strike till turn 2. I only count the first 3 turns of the game because it's usually the time that the game is decided in. Now check your calculations. If you have considerably less than 115 points, don't take him. If you have somewhat equal to or slightly more, take him if his 6-up Feel No Pain aura is going to help to at least 2 or 3 important units in your army throughout the game. This also includes his ability to heal 3 wounds on 2 units each turn. For example, if you have a bunch of melee characters that constantly need healing, if until the 3rd turn you are able to revive 1.5 his price, he's definitely worth it for your army. So that's it, guys. I think that Chief Apothecary is now in a very good place, a very welcome addition to some lists, and probably a useless unit for the other, just like he should be in a game of 40k. I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you next time.